In this video, we are going to show you how to install a Topcon value line auto guidance system in a Deutz Fahr 5125 tractor. Once the kit is open, lay all your parts out on a workbench as shown here. First up, we have our electric steering wheel driver that is used on the value line system. We have a box of hardware right here. Move over next to our monitor. There's two different monitors available. There's a 7-inch and a 10-inch. I am showing you the 10-inch right here. Then we have our electric harness and our receiver. The tractor we are installing this value line system on is a Deutz Fahr 5125. In the box of hardware, this is a universal kit, so you have several different spline adapters here. This kit will pretty much adapt to about any tractor out there. And I'll just flip this steering wheel driver over so you can see the inside. This is where our spline adapter will mount to actually drive the steering shaft of the tractor. Helping me make this video is James Hall with PFG America, and he's going to be going through the installation process as I film this. So first up, we are going to remove the steering wheel of the tractor.
I have a 13mm wrench.
And one bolt.
I mean the nut. Pull our telescopic knob out of the way. And we have our 27mm deep socket.
You'll break that loose. Depending on your application, you may be able to use a steering wheel puller. Otherwise, we are going to use a hammer and we're going to tap the end of the shaft, and normally the steering wheel will pop off. As you can see right there. You can see that the steering wheel is on a spline shaft right here, and that removal was actually fairly simple. Now with the steering wheel removed, we will have to identify which steering wheel adapter we need right here for the driver. So this kit, again, is a universal kit, and we have a total of 7 different adapters in here. So right now, we will find out which one we need for this 5125 Deutz Fahr tractor. Once your steering wheel adapter has been identified, you can fit it on here, the steering shaft here, match up the splines, and then we'll put our wheel on, we will fit it up. Once we figure out which adapter we need, we're going to take it off now and go back to the workbench and tighten everything down. Now we will install some blue Loctite for the 4 screws. Now we will install the 4 screws. And once the 4 screws are started by hand, we will now come in with the Allen wrench and we will tighten them down. Once we torque down the 4 screws, we are now ready to install the Topcon XW1 electric steering wheel inside the cab of the tractor. Also in the kit is several different brackets that should adapt up to most tractors. Once you identify the anti-rotation brackets with the steering wheel on the tractor, then you can pull it back up and tighten them down.
nice and snug.
Steering wheel is installed. Now we will remove the center cap of the steering wheel. And set the steering wheel back down on the splines. And install our nut to secure the steering wheel in place. We will now install the nut on the steering shaft and tighten it down. Once the steering wheel is torqued down, we can now reinstall our center cap. We will now install our 10-inch monitor inside the tractor using the ram mount. There is options available for installing your receiver, but double-sided tape is included in the kit for some applications. We are now going to clean an area off in the center of the cab with some rubbing alcohol. And using our double-sided tape, we will now stick the receiver down to the top of the cab. We are now ready to install our wiring harness, so we're just going to lay the harness out here, starting from the battery end.
Working to the monitor.
So he's going to run one up here temporarily through the back of the cab that will go to the monitor. And then this one will work around and go up to the receiver. And then another one that will go up to the steering wheel. So for now, we are just laying everything out in the area we think we're going to want it, and then once we get everything plugged in, we can secure the harness down. We're going to start with the receiver harness first. We are now loosening the cover here on the right hand console of the tractor because we'll be running a wiring harness underneath here. The battery cover has also been removed, and we will be removing this panel as well.
Only used it once. That's how I got it.
Now we are going to temporarily grab our wiring from the back and move it up and then plug it into the back of our monitor. First up, we are pouring our wiring up from the back of the cab harness up and plugging it into the monitor. Then we will grab the wiring that will go up to the steering wheel driver next. For now, we are just getting everything plugged in and tested out, and we will later secure everything. Next, we will pull up our floor mat To get the floor mat up out of the way, you may have to remove the covering on the right-hand side of the cab. Now that we routed our harness up to the steering wheel driver, we will now wrap it around the steering wheel and plug it in. There's 3 plugs on the harness that you may or may not use depending on your application. Those 3 plugs are, one is for a foot switch if you wanted a remote engagement on the floor. One is for a wheel angle sensor, which we are not going to use on this tractor. The other is for a seat switch, which we are not going to use on this tractor. Now we will route this harness up underneath . Next up, we will temporarily run our power cable up to the battery disconnect area. Keep in mind there's also a 25 amp fuse that will be close to the battery. So on our monitor, we got 3 different plugs to use here. First up, we're going to plug in the Ethernet, so you may have to remove one of the plugs, or a plug. First up, we plugged in our Ethernet cable. We have 2 other plugs that are very similar to this. These are for cameras. Now we will plug in our push in. We have an ISO plug right here that we are not using in this application. We will now install our power plug. There is a removable slot here in the console of the tractor. We'll remove this black plug and then install our power switch. You can fish your spade connectors up through the hole, plug them into your switch, and then install our power switch down inside the slot. Now we have our battery cable here, or power cable that will go to the battery. This is protected by a 25 amp fuse. We will fish this through underneath the cab of the tractor to the battery area on the right side of the tractor. We're going to install this on the battery disconnect switch so the guidance system can be shut off with the battery disconnect. Now that we have the positive and the ground cables hooked up to the battery disconnect, we're going to have plenty of excess cable because this is a universal kit that is made to fit many different tractors. With all the excess wiring and stuff, you want to make sure you roll everything up, secure it in a good place where it won't get pinched or pulled or anything like that, and then secure everything with zip ties. On this tractor, we have an access cover inside the cab. Remove the rubber boot. And our installation is complete of this value line guidance system from Topcon. Now, as I said many times in this video, this is a universal kit that will fit many different models and makes of tractors out there. For the purpose of this video, we are just showing it to you on this tractor here. Now, as we go forward, this kit will be available through your Deutz Fahr dealer, through PFG America, and when we get the chance, we will show this installation on other makes and models of tractors as well. When you start getting into the 6-cylinder Deutz Fahr tractors, they have their own integrated system built into the tractor. With installation complete, we are now going to take this tractor outside and test out this guidance system. Stay tuned, we will have more videos going through the system, how to set an AB line, field boundaries, and stuff like that. For the next several minutes in this video, we will just be showing a time lapse of the installation process. Overall, from start to finish, this kit took about 4 hours to install on this tractor. Also keep in mind, in those 4 hours, I was filming this too, so there was a couple things we had to do 2 or 3 times for the purpose of this video. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more videos on Deutz Fahr tractors and products. This install was performed in our service training room down at the main office in Toccola, Georgia. We are now going to take the tractor outside and try the system out.
So this steering system has the ability to be engaged from either the monitor or from the buttons on the steering wheel. By one press, it's engaged.
Okay, and then you follow your line. Just want to show you this screen here for reference. You will have to go in and set up a vehicle geometry to ensure that the system will work to the best of its ability. All these measurements you see here, you can measure on your tractor, put them in the system. If you're putting this on a Deutz Fahr tractor, we will have some of these measurements already on our dealer website. You can refer to that to get the proper measurements depending on the model of your tractor.